Hello everyone, this is Ponzelot, and I'm going to be talking in this video a little bit more about my Paladin and how you can come up with a Paladin that's as strong as mine. Now my Paladin's beaten everything in the game, more or less. Some stuff I'll actually bring other jobs to, but for the most part my Paladin's capable of beating everything. I can actually initiate fights in these high level zones without any trusts, and I'm usually okay. But let me just go through a couple of breakdowns of set equips that I have. Normally before I make videos like this, I'll actually have a bunch of equip sets set aside. We'll have all of the equipment in the equip sets on this list here, but for this video I actually decided to do something a little bit different. And I'm using a Gearswap to move the equipment around for me. So for example, when I actually engage this Eshen's Day right here, what's going to happen is my equipment's going to change to an engage set, right? And if I wanted to, I could change to a different mode where I'll have higher HP. So this one, the HP is at 3800 right here. And I can change to another mode here where I'm in my TP set. My TP set has 2600 HP. Obviously all the HP gear is off of it for damage. So 2600 tank with a little bit of damage. If I wanted to do just my normal meta build, it's basically just what I showed you guys last time. It's mostly the Sovereign set with HP pieces where I can, and it's kind of a hybrid set, really. Like you see that I have a total of 3400 HP right here. Well, I mean, I could obviously make that higher if I put on my Egoist Tathlum here, but I like the stats on this guy, right? So I'm trying to find like the best slot, best in slot for everything to make a set like this. And your goal is to try to keep an HP value that's roughly the same across all sets. That way when you blink in and out of different sets, you don't lose or gain so much HP that the white mage is tempted to waste mana healing you. That's the whole point, right? That's why I'm making this video, so you can kind of see what you're working with as far as what Paladin's capable of doing. We just showed you that if I go to my high HP set, I'm at 3800 max HP, already in the yellow, right? If I go to my low HP set for my TP set, I'm 2600. So that's 1000 plus difference. So if you're going back and forth with 1000 plus HP gap, they're going to want to cure 6 you as much as possible, and that's going to eat away at your mana, right? So that's the whole reason to actually focus on stuff like this. So as you can see, my average meta build is going to be in between the high and the low numbers on the HP. Instead of 2600 or 3800, it's sitting at a comfortable 3400. And I'm going to actually use that as a baseline for the rest of my equip sets here. So what you're really going to need to do is find a set that you're comfortable with and then work on tweaking different pieces to move the HP up and down on different slots to give you different effects. Like an example would be, I would remove this Moonbeam ring for a Stakini ring if I wanted to increase my healing potential or my enfeebling or enhancing potential. I would put that on, but now that I lost the HP, I'd have to go to another slot that didn't have any changes made, and I would put an HP piece on that slot. So like this one would be Dualism Collar +1. And you see that will actually help me keep my HP up, right? That's the whole point. Like you basically take one piece off and you put another piece on in that case. So like this still isn't 3400, so I would go and put the Ornero's belt on. Now I'm at 3400. So just by putting in the one Stakini ring, I had to change my neck and my belt from this set to make the same HP value. So we're actually going to look at some of the HP values that I actually have. I will keep my regular meta set on, and we'll just basically go through a couple of different things. When I cast Reprisal is an enhancing magic, so what's going to happen is my equipment's going to change to my fast cast set. Oop, if I could type. So fast cast set puts me at 3700, really high HP on the fast cast set just in case, and then my mid cast set after that back to the 3400, and then of course the regular idle engaged after that would be at the 3400 again. So again, we'll do the reprisal. You see the equipment changes a little bit. If I wanted to do like a crusade, or sorry, let's say I wanted to do defender, that's a job ability, right? I don't need fast cast equipment, but I still change into some Amity plus gear. So my HP will move up and down a little bit. So now I'm sitting at 3300 disengaged because the monster ran away. So I'll get back to the 3400 by engaging with the engage set on, right? And we're just going to go through some of the different equip sets that I've put together really quick. So let's see, I've talked about the TP and the regular tank build and the HP build. So we're not going to mess around with those modes. I'm going to leave the HP build out of this one because the default is going to be whatever that build is. And of course the HP build is going to be higher than everything else. So just note when you're actually in your HP set, everything you do is going to put you in the yellow for the most part. So the safest thing to do is actually do all of your buffs in your tank set, and then if you need to, you put your HP set on. Now the real big purpose of the HP set, I find, is when I'm weakened, I can still tank with this set on because it gives me an extra 1000 plus HP. See, I'm at 3800 with the HP set on. If I were to cast any spell like Crusade, that's going to change my value down from 3400 or 3800, and then cap it back out at 3700, and then I'm going to actually, when the spell resolves, go back into my HP set, almost 3900 HP, but I'm still in the yellow, right? I'm not ever going to be in the white after I get done resolving these spells. Here's the Phalanx set. So the Phalanx set comes on, I cap at 3300, then to 3800. So just know that that's how that works. So while we're testing this, we're going to be testing it in the regular tank set, which has average HP value. So you can see the Phalanx here is actually going to make the changes to the gear, but it's going to stay around 3400. Let's Cure 4 to prove that the HP doesn't drop too low, because it is at 26 right now. I'll do one more Cure 4. I'll do a Cure 3. That'll be fine. Alright, so you see I'm at 3100. I think I'm actually dropping HP just by curing a little bit. Yeah, I dropped to 3100 in my cure set. Okay, so we can't really get higher than 3100 by casting the cure spell on ourselves, but we do have other white mages in the party to cast cure spells, so that won't actually trigger our gear change. So that is something I might want to look into, getting the cure set a little bit higher HP value so I can stay at the 34. But you get the idea, right? There's a lot of sets of gear to actually make for your Paladin, and you want to kind of maintain that number as much as you can. And 300 HP is really not that big of a deal, so we'll continue the video knowing that that's an issue, and I'll just show you the reprisal again. So the reprisal, it moves the HP values a little bit, but I'm still in the white, right? The Phalanx, let's see if we can stay in the white. We're still in the white after the switching back to the tank set. Let's see, we want to cast Protect 5. Sometimes you'll have to cast Protect 5 after like wiping to a boss. Still in the white, around 3000, so give or take 500 HP. That's not too bad. And we're actually going to switch between all the sets here, so you can see the actual values that I've put together. So like my, oh no, I probably don't want to do my weapon skill sets because those are all going to be really low HP, obviously. Okay, we're going to lose that mob, so let's go find another mob to try again. Alright, so here we are. So we're targeted, and we're in our set, 3405 HP. We're going to skip the weapon skills because we know that that's going to take all the HP off already, obviously. You're usually not weapon skilling when you're a tank, so not a problem. You'll be using a lot of chivalries, so I do have a chivalry. If I put chivalry on, we'll see what happens to the HP value. Let's see, I'm at 3405 right now, so I'm going to go J, chivalry, me. I'm going to blink into a chivalry set and then back, and the chivalry set did put me at 3700, so I don't lose any HP by putting the chivalry set on, right? So if I'm using the TP in a fight and I don't want to drop HP and then my chivalry is available, I could just bust that and I'll actually not lose any HP that way, so that's really important. It's another way to zero your TP out and actually do something on Paladin without costing yourself a lot of HP. Let's put the precast set on for fast cast. So let's see, equip, set, stop, precast, stop, FC. Okay, so this is basically just a fast cast set that I'm going to put on. The fast cast set right now puts me at 2948, so that was what we were noticing earlier with the cure spells, where we're not at 3400. So something I could possibly do on this fast cast set is potentially take some of these slots that really don't affect much and maybe drop out that piece of gear for an HP piece, like for example this quick magic. I mean, it's nice, but we don't really need it at the loss of all that HP I could have on the Moonbeam Ring. So we could maybe for the fast cast put that on for an extra 100. This +2 on this orb right here, we could actually change that to an Ego's Taflum. There's another 45 HP. So we really need to make up about 500 here, and it's not going to be that hard to do. And this slot right here, Mendicants, is actually pretty good for a fast cast set if you're casting cure spells a lot. But if you're not really casting cure spells a lot, it's not helping you. So you might as well just take that out of your fast cast in general and just put this on and maybe not even worry about the spell casting speed on the Mendicants. It's not a big deal. Your cure spells will go really fast. as a Paladin, so with or without this, and the potency is not really that important, and you can even put that in as a mid-cast piece, which we'll show you in a minute how you would make that change. Because as a fast cast, you're going to want to leave the fast cast stuff on, and then when you move into the mid-cast set, what you're really going to want to do is change all your fast cast gear into mid-cast stuff, so that would be basically this minus the spellcasting buff, because you wouldn't get that anymore, but you would get the potency. And because it doesn't have any HP, what you could actually do is just change the fast cast piece to an HP piece. Dualism collar, right? And then there you go. Because you don't need the fast cast after you started prepping the spell. So when you change between the fast cast set and the mid cast set, you could still maintain the same HP value if you make those tweaks to those pieces of gear. So again, in this case, it would be fast cast piece, you would start with a Nala in this slot, and you would keep the fast cast on the neck. This is just an example. And then when you move to the mid cast, after you've started casting your cure spell, you would put your Mendicates on, and you would at the same time put your Dualism collar on. And your HP value will stay at a higher value, and it wouldn't actually dip at all, right? So that's just options for you. So that's the fast cast set. It's a little bit low on the HP, and we'll work on that, but for the most part, it's just fast cast in every slot, HP and spell interruption rate in other slots, and trying to maintain an HP value similar to what I have on my other sets, right? So let's go to another equip set. Let's look at the cure set. Okay, so the cure set does keep the Mendicates on, and we go with the Encounter Store cure, so the HP is not going to be in that slot because that's a really good piece for a cure set. But you could maybe change the Defending Ring out for HP. You could put like a Meridian here if you're not worried about being less tanky. Sometimes it's a concern though. You might want to keep the defense on there while you're in the middle of spell casting. But you have options. If you need more HP, you could just drop the Meridian here, or another Moonbeam if you have one. You could do a lot of things there. Right? So let's take a look at some other sets. Let's look at the Enmity set. So if I'm basically just casting blue magic or something and I want to actually maintain a high Enmity level, I will put this Enmity set on. Alright, so what this is going to do is keep my HP 3300. That's relatively close to what my regular tank set is. So I would be pretty much capped HP still if I used this. So that's really good. And I just put Enmity in the slots that I can afford it. And then the slots that I can't afford Enmity, I'll just keep HP values on. So we got options. Like this could probably go and be changed. I could probably change this to an HP piece if I needed a little bit more. There's probably an Enmity arrow ammo I could get too. Yeah, right here, +2 on that, so I could use that. So it's your call, however you want to do that. I like the tankiness a little bit. So, I mean, usually you're actually using this set when you're not tanking to get your Enmity back. So maybe the damage taken minus isn't relevant there. So that's something to think about. You could just put all Enmity or all HP or a combination, and you could get there that way. The flank set, now there's a lot of ways to do flank sets. Let me put on mine. Right, so the flank set's going to basically put the phalanx pieces on that you have, whatever is programmed in the equip set. In some of these other slots, you don't get phalanx, but you could put the Yorium pieces on. There's some Yorium gear from Skirmish. I think it's Alluvium. I want to say it's Alluvian Skirmish. You can put the Yorium slot where you don't have phalanx, and then these slots that you do have phalanx, you can just leave as phalanx. Like, I think on this set, it's actually phalanx gloves and phalanx boots. So that would mean I could change the legs and the body and the head to Yorium if I wanted more phalanx. But honestly, just with the boots and the gloves and the back piece, I'm pretty set. If I needed it a little bit more, I could put on this Praewind shield too, because it's got phalanx 2 on it. But if you need more than that, you can go with the Yorium and the head, body, and leg slot. I would probably never use the body one, because that's a big HP gap right there that you're actually going to sacrifice. But you could use some of the Yorium if you need to. It's always an option. But notice that when I actually equip this set, I still don't drop HP. So I worked really hard on making sure this set stays at the HP value. Let's look at the Divine set. I just made some tweaks to this, so let's see if I like it or not. Oh, I spelled wrong. Alright, so the Divine set's actually going to put me at 3340, so that's a pretty high HP value, so we're good there. So lucky for me, the Surcoat +3 actually is HP and Divine skills, so stuff like that's really good. So just try to tack on that HP in the slots that you don't get the skill ups. So skill up necklace, skill up skill up rings, and then the rest is just HP. Right here, and all HP all the time, as much as I can. For some reason, I had magic accuracy and magic attack in some of these slots, but I thought that was kind of silly after looking at it for a while. I was doing it for specific reasons that I guess are obsolete at this point, so I like this set. I like the fact that I got really big chunks of HP on some of the slots and really big chunks of magic skills in other slots, and that's basically the whole thing. So divine skill and HP on pretty much every slot that I can afford it. Alright, so that's the divine set. It's really strong. Let's look at the holy set. It's going to be just like the divine set, but a little bit tweaked. So watch the HP value. Right, so here's the holy set. Holy set goes down to 2700, so that is an issue. But understand that I only use this when I cast Holy 1, Holy 2, Banish 1, and Banish 2. This is the only 4 times in the game that I ever equip this set. That's usually when I have Divine Emblem up. So I'm trying to get that extra couple thousand points of damage off of the holy spells. I don't spam this stuff. So in that regard, I'm probably not going to change this set that much because I do like it the way it is as far as magic attack, and I have already increased some of the HP values. For example, the magic attack rings were removed for HP rings, in this case. The magic attack boots are still on because they have a little HP on them, and they're really high magic attack. That's a perfect augment there, so I might as well keep it. Perfect augment on the ley lines as well, magic attack and an HP, so that's fine, I'll leave it. This is pretty decent magic attack and it's got HP, so I'll leave it. Basically, you see the trend, what we're trying to do. Odyssean is augmented with magic attack, and it's got HP as well. So we're going to leave that as well. The magic accuracy and damage on this piece is what I went with, and the HP value, so this is pretty good for a set like this. The weapon skill damage is irrelevant, but you know, you got the other stats there. I'm trying to conserve inventory space because you need a lot of mantles on Paladin to actually be effective. Alright, and so this Founder's Breastplate's not perfect yet, but it's pretty decent magic attack, so we're actually going to use that for the Holy Set, and it has the HP 70 on it. So that's a big problem. By taking this off, I'm losing a lot of HP. Just by making that one change, I think I would say this is an acceptable dip in HP value, and at the cost of only like 30 magic attack. So maybe this is a better call than the other one, but either way you look at it, I mean, you're going to have something that is really good for one set, but there's a penalty in some other regard, like the HP value in this case. That's always going to be the case. Here's another magic attack and HP piece that you can use. So that's my holy set that I do. I can crank out some pretty big damage holies though with that set, so I'm happy about it. But I do have to remember that the HP gap is going to be a problem. I wouldn't necessarily be able to use that particular set when I'm weakened because my HP will go way, way, way down, and that would be a huge problem. Just as an example, let's just put the high HP set on, and you can see if I was weakened, we would be looking at a lot like this percentage, where I'm only like half life, right? I'm less than 3,000 out of almost 4,000. So if I wanted to cast the holy spell, I'm actually not going to cast it. But I might have actually gotten aggro by casting. Yeah, I did. Okay. Anyway, when I cast the holy spell, you can see that my HP does drop. Target this guy. HP goes down to 2,700 and back to 3,800. So let's just imagine for a moment that I'm weakened and I'm trying to tank a boss and I want to use my holy spell. That's my HP value change by over 1,000 points, just because I decided to actually make the magic attack set the way I did, right? So that is an issue. You have to make note of things like that when you play this job, because being weakened is almost impossible to tank, and if you are tanking, you really, really need a weakened set that you're gonna just reliably wear all the time. And if you're going to switch equipment around because you are using a Gearswap program or any sort of like really decent macros, if you are weakened, it changes a lot of things for you because your HP value and all that will change. And so if you decide to actually cast the holy spell for this, in this case, if you cast the holy spell while weakened, you're actually going to go down from like 2,000 HP to 1,000 HP, and that's a big problem. you could just get one shot. Matter of fact, I probably did die today in one of our dungeons simply because I was tanking WoW Weekend, and I decided to actually use some of these equip sets that just didn't really have the high HP value that I needed to tank WoW Weekend. So to avoid that, you really just want to make sure there's enough HP on your equip sets in the first place, and that way if you're ever weakened, you can just use the same equipment. You don't have to have a special weakened set that you just lock on the entire time. You can actually play your job, but you have to have those HP values in order to get there, right? So let's look at a couple other sets that I have. Sets.midcast enhancing. So this enhancing set's going to be around 3,700. So that's more than enough. I can actually use this set while I'm in my high HP mode, and it will be just fine, which again, if you're playing Paladin and high-end content while you're weakened, you'll probably have your high HP set on. You'll just lock to that. It'll be like a second nature kind of thing to keep yourself from really being weakened, because you double your HP value if that is the case. Like, it's insane how much HP you can have while weakened. So while weakened, you would use the HP set for sure almost all the time, and when you're actually trying to rebuff, you will be changing your HP values. So your Phalanx and your Reprisal and your Protect 5 and all these things, they're actually all going to change your HP value when you cast them, if you're casting them with your equip sets. And because you're weakened and you're in a high HP mode, all of those equip sets that you've put together that change your enhancing magic values, they have a lot of HP on them. We just showed you the enhancing set has a lot of HP. So that's huge. Now you're never going to have that issue where you just really get to low HP while you're trying to buff yourself, and then you die in between buffs, or something of that nature. Because in this case, that won't be an issue for you. So we'll go back to the high HP value. And you can see almost 4,000. And if I just were casually cast spells, 3,700. Back to 3,800. It's really close. Another buff, 3,700. So this is you after you've just gotten weakened. After you just revived and you're trying to get your spells back up and try to maintain 8 at the same time, this is you. Notice my Phalanx set actually dropped me to 3,300. You need to make note of things like that. If your Phalanx is dropping yourself too low, you really need to change some of those pieces out, right? I have a lot of Phalanx Plus gear that doesn't have much HP on it. That's the reason why that is a problem for me. So just make note of things like that. My Divine set is the same issue. It's really high Divine Magic skill, which is important, but if you're weakened, that's an extra 500 HP you just lost. That's huge. So just keep note of things like that. Make the changes as you need them. I think I like things the way they are right now. A lot of these problems you can just avoid by not dying in the first place, right? Right. So another set that I put together that you'll probably not use that often. My enfeebling set. There it is. So the enfeebling set has no HP on it. Just wanted to point that out. Normally your Paladin won't have an enfeebling set, but if you main Paladin long enough, you'll realize there are some contents that you need the enfeebling set for, and that is going to hurt your HP value because there's really no known set of equipment that's best in slot for HP and enfeebling. That's one of the real tricky sets to build in this game. Most of your magic accuracy pieces will not have any HP on them. You see this? All these magic accuracy best in slots? No HP at all. Here's some enfeebling skill, no HP, right? Very low HP on this magic accuracy piece. You get the point, right? No HP anywhere. So you've got to really decide, this is the only thing that I have that has HP on it, and that's because I augmented it just for this situation. So if I could just augment the rest of the stuff, we would be golden, but I can't. So just note that this enfeebling set is going to be really hard for you to build at the current moment in time, but maybe one day we'll get some HP pieces that have magic accuracy on them, or enfeebling magic skill on them, something like that. So again, we're still in the actual magic accuracy mode. If I were to cast Flash, I believe that's a Divine spell. It is. We'll change to the Divine set for that one. I don't think with my current sub job I have any enfeebling magics. I would probably need to sub Red Mage to get some enfeebling magics, but believe it or not, you can actually land things like Gravity and Slow and Paralyze if you're a Paladin sub Red Mage, and you've got the equip set for it. But you cost yourself a lot of HP when you do that. So there's a trade-off, for sure. Fortunately for you, the things that you would actually go Paladin Red Mage to would be more like Ambuscade, so it's lesser difficulty, or you can scale the difficulty a little bit better than you could say like in Esha Ryon or in Rizanjima. So in this case, you got a couple things working in your favor. The lower level of the monster means less magic accuracy is required and less HP is required. So both of those things are working in your favor if you're building a set like this that has the low HP and the low magic accuracy. Or the high magic accuracy, I mean. So yeah, so that would work in your favor for most of the content you would use it for. So that's just something I wanted to actually throw up here as a possible set for you guys to work on if you're running out of things to build on the job. And of course, you know, your idle set. There we go. Idle set. It's just going to sit around 3400 HP again. So for the most part, most of my equip sets are around 3400 HP in the regular set. We can actually change the value again in summary, just really quick. Change to all sorts of different values by changing our mode from my melee set to my tank set to my HP set. Because those are the 3 modes that I actually have put together, and they all differ by about 400 or 500 HP. So just can scale that way as well. And a combination between those 3 sets and all the equip sets in between that I use, I'm either going higher than I need to on my HP when I blink into a set, or it doesn't matter for the most part, with minor exceptions. We saw the enfeebling was a minor exception, and there was like 1 or 2 other ones. The fast cast is a minor exception for this. When I am fast casting, I'm not really sure I want to keep it the way it is, but let's load it one more time. Alright, let's load one more time. This value probably will change in the future, so feel free to leave some comments on what you would change in the set to add more HP and reduce as little fast cast as possible. But I can already tell you, I think I would probably get rid of some of these rings. Probably would keep the leyline gloves. Keep the fast cast mantle, and I would augment it a little bit more on the HP value to get there. I'd probably change that out. I know the enhancing magic casting time is relevant, but it's really, I don't know. I don't know yet, guys. HP is important. HP is very important. That piece could change too, but there's a spell interruption 30 on it, that's why I use it. So yeah, just some things to think about. I'll have to raise the HP value on this set sometime. But other than that, I think everything is golden on the Paladin. I don't jump around in HP values when I move between sets, and I have about 20 different sets of gear to wear on this job. The only time that I'll really dip on my HP value is if I'm actually weapon skilling, and we'll show that really quick. A lot of my weapon skills just really chop my HP in half. Like, let's show the Requiscat, because it's a magic attack with no HP. So I go to 2400. So that's just one example. A lot of my weapon skills have decent damage on them, but very low HP. So I can't really do much about that. I could just not weapon skill. That's a solution to that problem. But if I need the damage, then I'm gonna sacrifice the HP. Anyway, thanks for watching this. I hope you guys got some ideas on how to play Paladin and build certain equip sets. I really wanna look forward to those comments on these videos and videos that are similar to this to kind of see if maybe there's something you guys know that I don't, so I can compare notes with you, and we'll get there that way. But for the most part, just remember that HP is OP. And until then, until next time, I will see you. Thanks for watching.